Oh.
Good evening, everyone. It's 7:15 p.m. on January 1st, 2023, and I call the Committee of the Whole to order. We'll start with a roll call.
Ellis. Rancy.
Here.
Aiken.
Here.
Catchman.
Here.
Lawrence.
Here.
Mackey. Morrison.
Here.
Bertini.
Here.
Ross.
Here.
Shaw.
Here.
Cedar.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Shave.
Here.
Thank you.
We have no guest speakers tonight, so I will hand it over to City Administrator Clemens and department heads for any updates.
Thank you. I just wanted to remind you that I submitted my city administrator's report to you. A couple of things that I wanted to mention that are not in my report and that I sent out in a separate email was the emergency management disaster workshop. If any of you are interested in attending that, I'm happy to sign you up. If you have any special dietary restrictions, please let me know as well. And tomorrow, also what's not included in my report is tomorrow I will be testifying at the Capitol on the levy project. So I will be spending all day there testifying before the Capitol Budget, House and Senate committees. So yep, that's what we will be doing. Other than that, I am, and last reminder, we have our strategic planning session scheduled for this Saturday. So if you have any special dietary restrictions, please let me or Maria know. She did send an email out, and as well, if you need any other information regarding this, please let me know. Any questions? All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you. Any other updates from our department heads tonight? Seeing none. Mayor Shave, do you have a report?
Happy New Year. First meeting of 2023. Welcome, everyone. All your smiling faces makes this very special. Glad to see everybody. Glad to see so many people visiting tonight. We'll have two opportunities to speak at the podium. The first one will be for agenda items, and then a little bit later we'll have another open mic for anything that you want to talk about. Life goes on. Things have been very busy here at the city. Every day there's 256.5 items to deal with, and it takes a lot of notes to deal with them all because it's one subject or another, and well, my memory might not be as good as it used to be either, so I'm a couple of years older than when I first came to the city as a city councilman. So, but welcome everyone. 2023 is upon us, and there's a lot of new stuff happening here at the city. We have city administrator, as you know, and she's making a lot of good quality changes and making a lot of opportunities for me to do things that I've kind of always wanted to get involved with since I first became mayor. And so there's going to be a lot of new things this year. First thing probably you'll see is we're going to be working on a informational letter that'll go out to the community through the utility bills. And it's going to be a fun letter. Tell everybody what's happening, those things about what's going on in the city. So look for that. That'll be fun. And there's other things. We're hoping to get some activities involved with the school, with the high school this year. I have always wanted to bring some high school students in and maybe get some credit from the high school for them to participate in the political part of running the city, running a meeting, and all that different stuff. And so that'll be fun. A lot of new things. So welcome everyone. Fasten your seatbelts, and here we go. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor Shave. Do we have any non-standing committee reports tonight from council members? None? All right, well, we're cruising through committee of the whole, so I will adjourn and hand the meeting over to Mayor Shaver.
Thank you. This is Mayor Shave, and it's Wednesday, January 11th, 2023 at 7:21. And I call the Aberdeen City Council meeting to order. Deputy City Clerk, could we have a roll call, please?
Ellis. Here. Ramsey.
Here.
Aiken.
Here.
Catchman.
Here.
Lawrence.
Here.
Mackey. Morrison.
Here.
Garchini.
Here.
Ross.
Here.
Shaw.
Here.
Sedor.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Shave.
Here.
Thank you.
Move that we excuse councilperson Mackey due to illness.
Seconded.
Motion was made and seconded to excuse Councilmember Mackey. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the flag salute. Violet Morrison, will you please lead us in the first flag salute of 2023?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think the city administrator will lead us in the national anthem.
We'll give her one more meeting to prepare.
Belt it out. Well, that's good.
I
Okay.
move we approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Seconded.
Motion was made and seconded to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to, is there any additions or deletions? Okay. Moving on to public comments on agenda items. Oh, Councilmember Shaw.
Don't we have to have an election?
It's on this agenda in the special agenda items.
Oh, I thought it was one of the first things we did.
Well, here's what I've
Just make it
researched.
first.
We can make it first. Here's how it's worked. We looked it up, and the elections were listed in the special agenda items. But then when you look to see what the minutes showed, it seems that councils in the past have moved them towards the first thing. So I was just gonna let it go so it didn't confuse anybody, but.
I'm sorry I said anything. It's all good.
So if the council wants to move that forward, I'm fine with that. If we're okay, we'll just move on and do it during the special agenda items.
Let's just leave it the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're moving on to public comments on agenda items. Anyone wishing to comment on anything that's on the agenda, come up to the podium and state your name and your ward. Okay, seeing none. Move on to Finance Committee from Committee Chair, Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. The Finance Committee met this evening, and this was the last committee meeting of this particular group. And I'd like to thank the members, Councilmember Piricini, who's served as Vice Chair, Councilmember Sedor, and Councilmember Cashman, and Finance Director Sol for all of the support you've given us and all of the work that we do. We were all given a report summarizing expenses related to homelessness costs for the month of December. this is the first month's report of what we'll be seeing more regularly. And looking at staff time and other costs, that amounted to $16,224. And then in addition, we spent $2,578, but that gets reimbursed by Washington DOT. So it will be interesting to see how this tracks out over the year, if there are months that are more or less intensive for our staff and resources. And we can keep revisiting this. I want to thank all of the city staff who put time into tracking these numbers for us. Thank you very much for that. I always forget.
No worries.
Okay, and then now the most important thing. I'd like to recommend the approval of expenditures and payroll.
Second. Thank you. Motion was made, seconded to approve the expenditures and payroll. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Deputy Clerk, is the roll call vote, please?
A motion to approve accounts payable in the total amount of $1,333,123.28. Payroll in the total amount of $846,053.61. Check numbers 25703 through 25706, 80068 through 80216, and wires 1439 through 1448. Ellis?
Yes.
Rancy?
Yes.
Gaken?
Yes.
Catchman?
Yes.
Lawrence?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Pertini?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Sedor?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Motion approved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
And that is all from the Finance Committee. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to Public Works from Committee Chair, report from Councilmember Shaw.
Thank you. Public Works met yesterday. I understand it was a good meeting. I wasn't able to attend. But we do not have any agenda items tonight, thank you.
That in itself is amazing. Public Works is so busy that it's amazing when they don't have something on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on to Public Safety Committee Chair report from Councilmember Ross.
Thank you, Mayor Shave. Public Safety met this evening at 6:30 p.m. and we're making up for Public Works in the agenda item department. But I'll briefly go over the reports from the two chiefs from the Aberdeen Police Department. The activity report for 2022 was a total of 34,941 calls. That's up 6.4% from 2021, which is a pretty significant increase considering that we're down so many officers. Also, the Aberdeen Police Department is proud to announce Detective Cody Blodgett, Officer Jason Capps, and Officer Jesus Martinez will be promoted to the rank of sergeant effective February 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. They tested in October, and we were recently able to complete peer reviews and chief interviews. They will fill leadership positions created by recent retirements. And again, Grays Harbor 911 is in critical staffing levels and may not be able to answer the non-emergency number as they attend to 911 emergency calls during busy periods. Between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., we encourage our citizens to call our police department at 360-533-3180 to report non-emergency call requests. We are seeing an increase in online reporting and continue to encourage citizens to utilize that service at www.aberdeenlaw.gov. Click on the Aberdeen PD and then online reporting. And they're still hiring for police officers. There are several openings and they're looking for men and women who are looking for a fully fulfilling career of public service. Go to the Human Resources link on www.aberdeenlaw.gov and click on employment. Current testing cycle for officers goes through January 2022 of this year. And from the Aberdeen Fire Department, The committee report is their 2022 cost statistics were for the year of 2022, a total of 6,221 requests for service. This is an increase over 2021 numbers were 6,181. 2022 was the busiest year in the history of the Aberdeen Fire Department. The 2023 Cosmopolis response data, they responded to a total of 255 calls for service in the city of Cosmopolis. 213 of the responses were for EMS incidents and 42 were fire-related. And the fire service specialist report for the month of December, there were 34 public contacts made, 6 home visits, 22 business inspections, and 7 fire service specialist referrals to help patients receive appropriate care. Now we'll move on to the agenda items. I think, I'm trying to decide, I better read these off of here. So we have a report from Public Safety and the Fire Chief recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Aberdeen and Grays Harbor Fire District 2 regarding the fire district's use of a computer server owned by the City of Aberdeen. I move we adopt this report.
Second?
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, our second report is from Public Safety and the Fire Chief recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding between the City of Aberdeen and Grays Harbor Emergency Medical Services for services to be provided by GHEMS. I move we adopt this report.
Second?
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion?
I think we're going to ask Chief Golding to make some comments on this regarding the cost and the impact.
So just what the story behind this MOU is historically Grays Harbor EMS has been funded through Grays Harbor Transit. Within a few years ago, they found out through an audit that that funding mechanism was no longer valid and able to be used. So the last few years, they've been working off of reserves, and the county helped provide some money for them to be able to operate, as well as some other donations. And they've got to the point right now to where they've exhausted that and need to turn to charging for their services to all the jurisdictions within Grays Harbor County. What Grays Harbor EMS does is it provides services to all the fire and EMS departments in the county in relationship to mandated training, protocols, medical program director, coverage, and our interfacing with the state for our ambulance licensing. So the fee for that is, for this go around, the total is $30,557.35. It actually covers the entirety of 2023 and the last quarter of 22. This is for a 1-year agreement, so it ends at the end of this next year as they work on looking for a more sustainable permanent funding structure for themselves.
I have a comment, Dave. One of the other things to consider is this is a new expense for us, but it is also cheaper than if we were trying to do this on our own.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Just the medical program director, which is the doctor that oversees the EMS side of it. If we were to go off on our own to try to get our own medical program director, it would be much more than this. I would probably up to 50, 60,000 on the light side.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, appreciate your input.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, moving on. Moving on to report from Public Safety and the Fire Chief recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Aberdeen and the City of Hoquiam regarding the Hoquiam Fire Department's use of a computer server owned by the City of Aberdeen. I move we adopt this report.
Second?
Motion was made, seconded to adopt this report. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And our final report this evening is from Public Safety and the Fire Chief, recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Aberdeen and the City of Ocean Shores regarding the Ocean Shores Fire Department's use of a computer server owned by the City of Aberdeen. I move we adopt this report.
Second?
Motion was made, seconded to adopt this report. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's it for public safety this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to special agenda items.
I can cover the special agenda item tonight. We have the first reading of bill number 23-01, an ordinance that amends Aberdeen Municipal Code, section 2.20.0.0, time of meetings, and AMC 2.80.080, committee meeting time and place. I move that we accept the first reading.
I second
Motion was made and seconded to approve this first reading of bill number 23-01. Any discussion?
Point of clarification.
Yes, go
I
ahead.
think that it's section 2.20.010. You said 0.0.
Thank you. I
Just
think I
wanna
got the date wrong earlier
clarify
too.
that.
Just numbers are not in my favor tonight.
Oh. Okay, anything else?
Print fully on your page. Just got a little done.
Seeing none, all in favor of the first reading, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. First reading has been approved.
We have some appointments to make and I'll hand those over to you.
Okay, tonight we have election of city council president to start with. I'll open the floor to nominations.
Do you mind just explaining the procedure to everyone one more time?
The
I could
procedure.
use a refresher, yeah.
I open the floor for nominations. Any council member has somebody they want to nominate, they can do that, and then we'll vote on it. I think you can choose how you want to vote on it. If you want it a roll call, if you want it aye, A or nay, or if you want a sealed vote, we'll do it that way, whatever makes everybody comfortable. Okay,
Okay.
all right, so the floor is open for nominations.
I would like to nominate Katie Catchman.
Okay. Any other nominations? Go ahead.
Mayor, I would like to nominate Councilmember Ross.
Ross? Okay, any other nominations?
I have a question I was hoping could be answered is, of the current members on the council, who either has served, or if there's a lesser number of who haven't yet served, and of those people who have not yet served, who might be interested, that would be a good point of information for me to know.
So the question is, who's served as council president?
Or who has not, and of those who have not, who would be interested?
Of this group right here, I think that's a pretty easy answer. It's Katie and Deanne.
Who is not interested?
So, I mean, that's easy.
Thank you.
Any other nominations?
I move the nominations be closed.
Second.
Nominations, it's been moved and seconded to close the nominations. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. The nominations are closed. And now we can vote on candidate Katie Catchman and candidate Debbie Ross. Would you like to just have a yea or nay? I don't know, I can try it.
Roll call.
Roll call vote,
For the
please.
one you want.
Okay, Deputy Clerk, we have a roll call vote for Councilmember Ross and Councilmember Catchman.
Roll call vote for 2023's current council president. Please state the name of the candidate that you are voting for. Ellis,
Ross.
Francie,
Catchman.
Aiken, Catchman,
Catchment.
Lawrence,
Catchman.
Morrison,
Catchman.
Pericini,
Catchman.
Ross,
Catchman.
Shaw,
Catchment.
Sedor,
Catchman.
Taylor.
Catchman.
Councilmember Catchman remains as council president.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. Now, we need to elect a council member to serve on the Committee of Committees for 2023. And I'll open the floor for nominations for that council member.
May I nominate Debbie Ross?
Okay, any other nominations? Catchman?
I nominate Councilmember Pericini.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, the nominations are closed. City Clerk, Deputy Clerk, can we have a roll call vote for Councilmember Ross or Councilmember Pericini?
All right, please state the name of the council member who you are voting for. Ellis,
Ross.
Francie,
Ross.
Aiken,
Pericini.
Catchman,
Pericini.
Lawrence,
Pericini.
Morrison,
Pericini.
Pericini,
Pericini.
Ross,
Ross.
Shaw,
Ross.
Sedor,
Pericini.
Taylor.
Pericini.
Pericini wins 7-4, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. So what this means is, we'll go through, council comments, and then at that time, council member, or council president Catchman, the previous council president Shaw, and council member Pericini will recess to the committee room with all the paperwork that everybody filled out of what committees they wanted to be on. And the three of you will be charged with filling out the three committees. Okay? All right, we'll move forward. The next item on the agenda is public comments. Anyone from the public have anything they want to comment on? Come up to the podium, give your name and ward that you live in.
And you'll have to-
And we try to keep it to 3 minutes. I know in your case, you got a good preparation.
Can you hear me?
You got to speak close to that microphone.
Okay. I own 2 buildings in downtown Aberdeen. I've been in downtown Aberdeen since I was born because my father owned Pearson's. And my brothers and I bought the past and present building and the Was Men's Store building from my father. We are not getting rich from this, but we maintain these buildings because we feel that they are really good for the town. They benefit the town. There's not a lot of stores in downtown Aberdeen. In 2019, in January, August, and December, the windows were all broken out with a total cost of Was Men's Store building, of around $2,000. At that time, Ray Eriks owned it, and he and I and my brothers decided that it's best to put gates across it. So we shared the cost of close to $2,000 each to put a gate across. They not only broke the windows of Was, they ran in and stole his merchandise, which is a shame. That total cost was around $35,000 or $3,500 that year. In October of 2020 and December of 2020, the windows were broken out of past and present mercantile. That cost $2,500. And this is, you know, deductibles on insurance. If you're gonna claim it, it's cheaper because the insurance keeps going up to just pay it. So we just paid it, okay? Then in 2022, excuse me, I need to compose myself. In 2022, they stole the wire out of the past and present building 3 times, which of course we claimed that into insurance because it was like $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 by the time they got done. That cost us close to $3,000, us. Investigating this, I went down, I investigated myself. You know, I sat in the coffee shop to see what I could hear. And I got videos from the business that got robbed, that Marshalls also got their wires stolen a few days or weeks after we got ours. And they had really good video across the alley of the guy that did that, really good video. And so I got a copy of that, a thumb drive, and I met with Scott that has the DNR building. And we went upstairs and we sat and looked at that video, and then he found the video of our alley, and he and I determined that was the same person that did that. We could tell he even was wearing the same clothes, even though it was at night. And I brought those to the city and gave it to your nice new
Police chief.
lady that works here.
Oh.
I can't remember her position. Okay. So here we are, 2023. Got a call from the police not long ago that they broke the door window of past and present mercantile. That's another $500, okay? You don't see the homeless over in Hopeland because they pick them up and bring them over here and drop them at the station. I know if somebody told me they follow them, they watched them do it. They're not in Cosmopolis because they do the same. Because Aberdeen's a dumping ground for them. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I found, in doing my own investigating, I found a friend that knew a person who had talked to somebody that came from Arizona because Arizona bought them a ticket here. Because we take care of them. They landed in Causey and Causey brought them here. Leroy, my guy that works for me, was so mad when we got the wire done. He drove past the homeless camp to see what he could see when our wire was stolen. There was a big pile of the casings from them stripping it and just leaving the casings right next in that wire cage right there. You can't say it's not related. You just can't. So somebody from the homeless camp came into the store not long ago, and we're trying to figure out why, where are these people coming from? And he asked him, you know, just in conversation, you know, walking around the store, what brought you here? Well, my buddy from Tacoma brought me here because he says it's really good because they take care of us down here. This has to stop. It's hurting. $9,000 is not a little amount for me to pay repairing. And these people aren't from here. They're being shipped here. They're being shipped here from Florida. I heard about somebody, they shipped them here from Florida, and somebody at the coffee shop had talked to that person. They know this. This isn't just imaginary. This isn't just, people starting rumors. You know, these are people that have told me, and it's just not right. It's just not right. There's vagrancy laws in this town. There are vagrancy laws. It's illegal for them to be sleeping on the sidewalk in front of the VFW across from my store. That's illegal. It shouldn't happen. You know? Send them back. Find out where they came from and buy them a ticket and send them back to the people that sent them here. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ryan Gullickson, Ward 3. So I'm sure all of you are aware that a few nights ago we had that horrible hit and run over by Duffy's, where a man sadly lost his life. And I've seen this multiple times where we have the crosswalk lights, but they're 4th and Broadway and many other sections in this city where we have the crosswalk lights to alert cars that we want to cross the street, but we have no way of activating them unless the school zone is active. I think it would benefit us to, if we can, somehow modify these lights to be able to be activated by any pedestrian who wants to cross, whether it's in school hours or not. It would save many lives and hopefully prevent another tragedy like what happened a few nights ago. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Do we want to get contact with the property owner? Okay. Moving on to city council comments. Anyone on the city council have any comments? Oh, Councilmember Morrison.
I'll be quick. I just wanted to remind, this is mostly for the public too. The Washington State Legislature is now back in session. This is a budget year and there will be a whole host of proposed bills making the rounds. I would implore citizens and fellow members of local government to reach out to our local delegation to the legislature to advocate on behalf of our community. Most especially where it concerns public safety issues, including the Blake decision, restoring police pursuits, drug and mental health issues, crime, and housing. So much of what is decided and made mandate by those in Olympia directly impacts our community and affects how we as a city can address key issues for our residents. The members of our local delegation to the legislature are Jim Walsh, Joel McIntyre, Jeff Wilson, Mike Chapman, Steve Theringer, and Kevin Vandewey. Their contact info and information on proposed legislation and upcoming votes and public hearings can be found at www.leg.wa.gov. Thank you.
Thank you. Real briefly, I'd like to mention that the number dollars for the month of December that the citizens of Aberdeen paid for homeless issues that the city was working on was $16,224. I'd also, another subject I'd like to mention real quick is if you make a phone call to 911 non-emergency, there might be a time when they won't be able to answer that phone call. And it's because they're so short-handed that if they're involved in an emergency call, they're going to ignore that non-emergency phone. And that could happen quite often. Just going through the numbers of the Aberdeen Fire Department emergency services, and I'm not counting police calls, there were 115 false calls that took staff time at 911 and at our fire station or police station. So until we can get through this situation and you know how it is, almost every business has a now hiring sign out. And it's no different with 911, they're struggling up there, so. Anything else from the council?
Mayor?
Councilmember Ellis?
Thank you. Yesterday in the Seattle Times, there was an article citing that nearly 600 people have died on Washington roads just in the first 9 months of last year alone, an increase of 20% over 2021. Speeding accounted for 30%, impairment 69%. Just a reminder for drivers to drive with particular caution. And while we have these dark nights for pedestrians, either on foot, scooter, or bike, to wear reflective clothing and have a light, that's so important. And be cautious when approaching intersections. Safety first, and our 911 responders are so overwhelmed, and if we can even prevent some of these accidents, I think that would be really helpful and certainly save some lives.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilmember Cedar.
I just want to express thanks to the citizens who showed up tonight and expressed comments about key issues in the city. I appreciate it very much, especially the homeless issue.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to excuse the council president, the past council president, and Councilmember Pericini. And we will,
Mayor Shea, I thought in the past we did that after the council meeting was adjourned. And
you
then
want
at
to
the
do it
next
that way?
meeting.
In the past, what we've done is, we've adjourned the meeting, but the committee still meets right after the meeting, and any council members that want to stay and hear what we decide are welcome to stay, but we don't report out until the next meeting what the committee lined up.
Okay, we can do it that way because also we have an executive session.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Councilmember Shaw. So, go ahead.
So I move that we recess into executive session for 20 minutes. Action is not anticipated after the executive session. The purpose of the executive session is to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to agency enforcement actions, or to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency litigation or potential litigation where the agency, the governing body, or a member acting in official capacity is or likely is to become a party when public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency.
Okay, we are
We gotta second
recessed
that now.
for 15 minutes. What'd you say?
20 minutes.
20 minutes, we're recessed. And there won't be any action after the recess, so.
Wait, that wouldn't be one that I would have ever had. It would have been an executive session thing, so it would have been on. This came from legal.
Everybody's back except for me.
Slacking there.
Slack in the wilderness.
I move we reconvene.
Motion is made, seconded to reconvene. We are reconvened. There's no objections. Okay.
Move we adjourn.
Second?
Motion was made and seconded to adjourn. If there's no objections, we are adjourned.
Like it. We convened to adjourn.
Very odd.